Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. How was everybody? I made it just in time. Uh, Stationary Seeker, Jason, thank you for the subscription. 5 months in a row. Thank you, sir. Um, Hans, hello. How you doing? I didn't think I was going to make it today. I was having a great day. I was, Gary, living the dream. Yeah. I was, You got back 2 minutes ago yourself. I realize it's Wednesday. It's probably your lunch with Crazy Alan, I suppose. Um, well, I was having a great day. I was very productive. I was cleaning things up. I actually have, and I write, like anybody else, I write things on pieces of paper. I wrote notes down, and I had one of the notes on one of my pieces of paper was to consolidate all my notes. And so I did that, and I got rid of like all these pieces of paper down to two, which is good. And I'm going to get rid of the second one tonight. Answered emails, cleaned up the bench a little bit, cleaned up the shipping area a little bit, took care of a bunch of stuff. And then it started to go downhill. It was great. Vlad, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Waves from Green Bay. Hello, GT Racer. Russell, how you doing? A package of consignment pens I was supposed to receive today did not arrive. Okay, no big deal, except I'm planning my photography this week around those pens, and they didn't show up, so I don't know. And then UPS came with a ton of packages, and they walked in just before my lunch with a boatload of packages, and I'm excited. I'm like, great. I've been waiting for one for a while. And one of them has something that I've been waiting for about 4 years. And we were going to talk about it today on the stream. It's a repair part that I'm having made. And like I said, it's been 4 years, maybe 5. I don't even remember. I've lost track of how long ago I have asked for this. And the UPS driver drops the packages off on my counter, walks out the door, then comes back and it says, oh, there's a COD on one of these. And I'm thinking, oh, I know which one it is. And I literally had the box in my hand. I was going to open it up so I could check out this new product. And he goes, yeah, you owe me $40.32 or something like that. I'm like, well, I mean, and this is the first time I've ever been hit with the COD. And I said, well, how would you like to be paid? Can I pay you with a credit card? Can I pay you with cash? A check would be good, he says. I don't have any checks. I don't use checks anymore, really. I never had checks made for the business. I mean, we printed them out because our landlord takes his rent via check, and that's fine. And we just never got around to because nobody else takes a check. And so I'm like, well, you got to be kidding me. I run over at least, hey, you got a check? I don't have any checks. What's that I hear? The 1990s. Yeah. I'm like, can I give you cash? I got cash. I can do that. No, we can't. No, we can't take cash. Like, well, there's only 3 types of payments you could take. How do you not know what payment you're supposed to take for a COD? Is this the first time ever? I don't think so. So it's like, well, I got to take, so I'm running across the next door, and I'm seeing if Lisa's got a check in her purse. And I come out, and he's like calling a supervisor, hey, can we take a check? He doesn't even know. He doesn't just cash on delivery. I've got cash, man. I can pay you down to the penny. I've got pennies yet. You still write 20 to 30 checks a year, but you're weird? I used to write like two a year. I would write the end of year tax bill. I'd use 2 checks for it, which is maybe weird, but it worked out for me because I would have money set aside in a savings account in one bank. And then whatever I didn't have in the account, because I would like try to, I would adjust the amount each year so that I pretty much nailed it. But if it was a little bit under, the taxes went up a little bit more, then I wrote a check from the other account. So I wrote 2 a year. So, a book of checks for me lasts, 50 years. And, then I'm no longer at that bank. So, yeah, cash on delivery. Come on, man. I've been waiting 5 years, 4 or 5 years for this part. It's right here. And he's like, okay. He grabs it out of my hands. He's like, I'll be back tomorrow. Okay. So I had other business I had to do at the bank anyway. So I just lumped it all into one trip. And that was that. Yes, Gary. Yes, your package did come. Your package was not the culprit. So we'll talk about that in a minute because I've got those right here. But anyway, yeah. So I like. Would they take a money order? I don't. Yeah, money order. How about an American Express traveler's check? Anybody remember those? Anybody ever use those? I've met a couple people over on Twitch for sure. Russell probably remembers those. You'd get those. You'd get those in advance of going on the band trip. S&H green stamps. Yeah, man. How about I give you an Esterbrook J? How's that sound? The last time you used a traveler's check was 2005. That doesn't sound all that long ago, doesn't it? Right? It was only 20 years ago. 21 years ago. I last time I used one was 1985. I know that for a fact. It was 85. Well, 85? Yeah, 85. I was a freshman in high school. You can send me some green stamps? I'm sure you can. That was a bitter end for him. It's 2005. Yeah, I went on a band trip. I got called up as a ringer to go on a band trip with the high school. So in my hometown, high school was actually grades 10, 11, 12, and then 9th grade I got called up to go on the band trip because they needed trumpet players, I guess. So I got traveler's checks to go to Mackinac Island. Yeah. Weird. So anyway, yeah. So I'm back. I'm like, you can't rush this thing. I had a bunch of business to do. So I mean, it took 45 minutes at the bank, 35, 40 minutes. It's 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back. So hopefully tomorrow we'll have something really super cool to show off on the stream. It really derailed me because I gotta change what I do today. But that's okay. What else is going on? Living the dream. Got down to 5 overnight. Yeah, it's not too bad here. We got a little bit of snow, but it was a little slippery this morning. Yeah, UPS drivers no clue what green stamps are. We used to have this back when we had our first store, our first location. We had a guy named UPS driver's name was Gary, and we called him Grumpy Gary because he was always in a hurry. He's sweating like mad, and no matter how nice you be to the guy, and you're always nice to him, right? I mean, you're happy when the UPS FedEx mail person comes in. They got stuff for you. And he was just grumpy, so we just called him Grumpy Gary. I think he retired and then he passed away. It wasn't that old. I thought you could pay with a credit card online for UPS COD. I asked him. I said, "Can I pay online?" And he's like, "Oh." I thought what I remember hearing is my understanding was if you pay, it's less if you pay them in person. But he couldn't tell me. He literally called the superior to say, "Well, can I take a check?" You told me that that's the sort of thing you would take. Why are you calling and asking? You think the opposite's true? I'll look online. Maybe what I'll do is I'll look up the tracking and maybe it'll show me. But what was funny is because I had just said to Lisa, last night or this morning. I don't remember when it was. I had looked, and there's a little note now on the UPS website that says they are no longer charging tariffs because of the Supreme Court decision. And I thought, well, this is weird because I've received dozens of packages from this guy. He's overseas. Yeah, log into the UPS business address. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that tonight. If not, I got checks now. So anyway, that's my drama for the day. I did what did I get? I got some Twisby in, some Girologio, some ink I ordered. I don't even remember how long ago. Platinum lavender and black and khaki black, which I think are lovely colors. Do not seem to be all that popular though, which is weird. That lavender black is really great. What else you got? I got a bunch of packages. Oh, and yeah, and something special I can't talk about until Sunday. That came in. All right. What else is new? What else is new here? Looking around. I don't know. I got nothing. Let's go to the bench. All right. So I did have a lovely package today from Gary over on YouTube there. Included a couple of desk pens for me. A nice Esterbrook with the black taper, which is super cool. With the later spoon style lever. So there we got that. And this guy's definitely got some history. Hey, thanks for the follow. This is a Parker Deluxe Challenger, it looks like. The taper is something else. I've seen this before, this kind of shrinkage. And somebody replaced the original nib with an iridium tipped plated steel nib, two-tone. But actually, I remember Gary sent me the picture. He says, well, I got these desk pens and I'm going to send them to you. And I don't know why I thought that this one was an Eversharp or something. I'm like, yeah, cool. You know, I still think I appreciate it. I really do. And when I got it as a Parker, I'm like, you got to be kidding me, because I don't have any Eversharp bases, so I wasn't sure. You know, I might sit on it for a while. And I thought, man, that section doesn't look like an Eversharp, and it's a Parker, and I've got Parker bases that I can probably make this up, and I'm pretty sure I have a different taper for this. So tomorrow I'm gonna look and see what we can do, and shrinkage. Maybe we can restore this and put a different nib in it and fix up the button. Find a nice base for it. There we go. Stiff. So anyway, thank you, Gary. Do appreciate it. So we got those guys. Side. I was a little confused though. I'm curious, Gary, if you can tell me. We used to have our mail go to a P.O. box, and we've recently set up forwarding on that because now that we're here in the warehouse in the shop, I don't get to the P.O. box ever, because the post office that the box is at is really tiny. It's super tiny. It's 2 windows. That's it. They know me by name when I come in. They're like, "Oh, box 35." They're like, "Oh, okay," you know. Which is super cool. They're wonderful women that run the shop there. But I'm curious of where you got that address, because I'm going to need to change it. It did forward correctly to me here at the shop. But But and I thought, well, maybe there's something on the website, but I thought I changed it on the website, so I must have something with the PO box set up somewhere. I'm not sure where it is, but anyway. All right, so on the docket today, I've got an Esterbrook nib that is grossly. I don't, sometimes you wonder how this stuff happens. This came in today, and a client wants me to put it on a new pen. It says, well, I've got this old nib. It writes great. Well, it's a 9128, but I mean, look how far up this collar is. So thankfully, it's already. You got the address off the website. I received notification yesterday it could not be delivered. I then received notification today that it was delivered. Yeah, so I'll have to. I was looking today. I'm like, maybe there's, there's like some back corner spot maybe, but I just couldn't find it. But yeah, this feed is all wonky. I mean, I'm just going to reset it. It's twisted. It's too far up. And then we're going to put it in this Red J. So that's operation 1. Operation 2 is this guy just came in today. I haven't really even looked at it. This snorkel is really, really inked up. So we're gonna get hopping on this guy. So, but first, we're gonna finish these guys up. At least, excuse me. At least these two. This guy, I was gonna polish this barrel, but I didn't get to it. So actually, I'm gonna wait on that. And I need a nib for this. So we can find that. Let's see if I've got anything that's just floating around on the bench here. That's good. These are all bad nibs. I have a bag that's literally entitled "Bad Nibs." So I need something decent to put in this. So we'll get that. This we'll wait on. So let's start out with this guy here, and then we've got those vacs from yesterday. A couple of those we can start working on. I honestly don't think this one is coming off. I think we're gonna wipe it down, give it a little bit of a polish, and then you got to head off. All right. Best to you and your wife. Go watch and return. Yep. I think we're gonna wipe it down, polish it up, and we're gonna leave it as is. I don't want anything to happen to it. It actually writes extremely well under the circumstances, so there's really no need to go any further, I think, on that one. This is a crest. Just gonna kind of a medium-ish nib. Still seems like there's a little bit of it's straight. That's better. All right. I think that will work just fine. Feels great. We can clean it up, seal it up. Like I said yesterday, a little bit of shrinkage on the back end of the barrel, but it's not too bad. It does. You can feel the resistance a little bit when you get to the end, and okay. I guess, did I do a writing sample on this? I guess I was using this notebook. I like to include the writing sample. So for now it works. I think we're in a situation where it didn't work or it stops working, then we will we will come up with another idea and take more aggressive measures, but those plastics are usually not very heat resistant. All right. It's really hard on this one to see the ink come out. I don't know why it was on the old one was easier to see the ink. Either I wasn't cleaning them well enough, or it's just harder to see. I don't know which one it is. I do like it though. It's really the Cadillac of salad spinners. All right, let's seal this up. And if I yawn more than like it seems I should, my cat kept me up all night long. He's a good boy. He really is. He means well. But he likes to sleep next to me. And most of the time, he will sleep with literally with his head on my pillow. So, you know, I kind of have to scooch it over so that he comes by and he sits up here right next to my shoulder with his head on the pillow. And all last night, he kept tipping his head back. And so as he tips his head back, of course, he hits me in the face, wakes me up. I can't breathe because now I'm breathing, you know, a huge fluff ball of orange fur. And that went on for hours, hours and hours. This one I thought I was going to sleep. He'd lift his head back, bop me in the face. Pretty soon I'm going to have to heat this whole thing up and then put it in one of my new jars because this is really getting hard to get down there. All right. Clean that up in a minute. Even if there's a half of a drop, I always put it back in the bottle. Fold that over. Clean that off, and we're good to go. All right, I'm going to look at the. I always double check the threads on these, especially if you go over. So that there's no stickiness in there when you don't want it to get in the cap. Want it on your fingers. Usually heating it and then just wiping it is enough to take care of it. But sometimes you got to look at it a little closer. We're going to leave that little white dot on the blind cap. It tells a story. I'm not sure what story it tells, but it tells something. Not supposed to be there, but it's almost perfect like it should be there. I mean, I've seen him on the end, but not. Maybe he was painting or something and drop of white paint fell onto his pen. All right. I'll shut the cap a little bit. I've got all these new fancy polish cloths, and I'm still using the same old ones I've always used. Sorry, Dave. cut a little bit off slit. Some corrosion in the slit. It still writes nice though. Cap seals up nice. All right, those will be ready to go home then. I'm gonna wait on that one. I need a nib for this guy. Let's go grab the nib box. Here's one of the bad nib bags. So this is going in that Medallion Series base. For a second there, I thought there were two nibs in this box. That'd have been the best. That'd have been the best thing ever. Looks like a manifold. It's a manifold in a 9556 box. Oh, that's all right, I guess. All right. I can't imagine being in the 50s, having these little nib boxes and swapping things out and then putting the not correct nib putting a different nib into a different box. Like, that's more trouble than it's worth. And you see it all the time. Like, cross it off at least, you know? I was hoping to get some buffing practice in today, but maybe I'll do that tomorrow since I'm kind of caught up with a lot of things around here. Which makes me happy. I mean, it's good to be busy and all, but and I found out it's a funny thing. So last week we were working on that, looking at that Esterbrook 407 inkwell. Well, there were two of them. There was one that was kind of nicely polished, and then there was one that was not as nice. And so I showed off the nicer one on the podcast on Friday. And this, of course, was in the mysterious box of 3 desk set bases that I found. I thought, well, what is this doing in here, right? So we put it together. We got good pens with it. And as I'm taking it away from the camera and as I'm grabbing it, my fingernail hits like a rough spot. And I don't think you can tell on the camera, but I kind of thought to myself, well, that doesn't feel right. There shouldn't be a seam there. And after the fact, I looked at it, and I'll be darned if there wasn't a crack going up the side of the well. And I said, well, it seems really well. It seems like it's been attended to, like somebody sealed it up. So I decided yesterday I was going to fill it with water and see if it leaked. And I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, well, where am I going to do this? And I ended up getting a plastic bucket, and I put it in there, and I forgot about it for three hours. And it came time for lunch, and I happened to walk by it again, and I looked down, and I'm like, sure enough, there's water leaking out of this thing. I'm like, oh my goodness. You can only imagine, if somebody had put, it had left here and somebody put ink in it and put it on their desk and then, went to bed and came up the next morning. What a disaster that would have been. Yeah, I mean, it would have been a not a cool thing. I mean, total. It almost makes me think now. I mean, it wouldn't happen on the 444s, but the 407s. I almost want to think, well, crap, I ought to fill them up with water and make sure that there's no hidden leaks that I don't know about. Can you imagine? Talk about a bad day that would be, huh? Or your office is in a different room and you set it up one night and you don't get there for 24 hours and it has all leaked out. It's your grandfather's desk or something made out of some special wood. So the good news is I now have some Esterbrook 407 desk parts. Back in a few. All right. Because you always need those. You always need that strap. You always need the strap. And I've had some for a while, and I always said, you know what, I could have sold them. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to sell them because someday is going to come along where I run into a 407 in gray or a 427 in gray or burgundy or something that I don't have, and it's not going to have the strap. And then I'm going to go, well, now what do I do? You got to buy a 407 to steal the strap from. All right. I guess I'll write in here. I got to get rid of this notebook. All right. I guess what I didn't think about doing is I got to check the trumpet on that bass. I'm going to go grab that in a minute. Yeah, I like the nib. Very nice. Why doesn't that fill though? Oh, that's why. This is all. So the J bar got. Bet the J bar slipped out of place. Which it's hard. It was hard to get in. It's hard to get out. Well, it seems to be working. Right down. It's positioned right. It hits the knot. It hits the stop point. Maybe a little far back, but it hits it. Snaps up. It's not loose. So why is it? Then my next option is it's probably a clog, maybe in the nib unit itself. So what you can do if you think that might be the case, since I have it out, because sometimes you'll see that the lever will have some slack to it. It's because of one of two things. It's either one that the bar has slipped such that it's no longer making contact. If this is the barrel wall and this is the lever, the top of the lever, it comes down when you pull your lever up. This comes down to compress the sack. What happens is if the bar is in at the wrong angle, or that J at the end is not quite right, when you press it down, it sometimes it shifts. It shifts kind of up, and then the sack doesn't, or the J bar doesn't go all the way back up, which means there's now a little slack here because the bottom of the lever rests on the top of the J bar. So that's option number one. Option number two is that's working fine, but there's a clog in the feed just enough that it's taking a little bit longer than normal for the sack to reinflate after you compress it. And then compress the sack, put the lever back in position. The J bar is in position, but there's a little slop because the sack is compressed, is filling up. Well, that doesn't seem to be the case here. If I press it twice, it fills up. Something not right, though. Let's just take this out and look at it again. It's got the right shape to it. Press down, that goes down. Sometimes just taking it out and putting it back in is enough to get it to. Sure, that's on tight. I'm kind of watching it at an angle, and I can see when it gets to this point, it's actually only hit the front end of the sack, and pushing up this far then drops that second part of the bar, which is going flat, so I don't know what's going on here. It's the right sack size. So maybe I'm just not being patient enough. Or there was something stuck in the feed. And it looked like a new old stock nib, even though it was in the wrong box. You could tell because there's, there could have been dust or something in there. So just out of curiosity, Hey, that's a fun nib. Blows through fine. That reacts more like I think it should. Okay, now it seems to be working fine. It could also be that sometimes it just does take a little bit of finagling to get, it's like if you have a brand new pen that you just put a sack in and you try to fill it, it doesn't always fill properly the first two or three operations of the lever. So maybe now that it's fully saturated, it's good to go. They are not normally this hard to get on and off. Okay. I am going to quick go and grab that base. I just want to make sure that the trumpet is clean, and then that guy is done. So I'll be right back. Yeah, we need to clean up. That's the thing about trumpets is they're always going to have something in there. See if this. Let's see if this will come out. I know there's a spring on the bottom of there. Ah, not as easy as like a magnetics. You just take it off and just throw it in the ultrasonic, right? I can do two at once. That works, huh? I'd like to see this blue get a little lighter, but it's not. Maybe getting there. Probably never get all of it out, but at least now it's not quite as dark. We're going in the right direction. And that one's even lighter. I like this two Q-tip thing. That works out pretty well, huh? There we go. Nice. Let's give it a little bit of a polish. And this guy's done. Just a little gloss on there. Just enough to make it not dull. Much better. Of course, the trick is not to touch it now. That'll look nice on anybody's desk. This one's got good spring tension. Sometimes you find these, you put the pen in and it goes. So that looks good. Let's get this out of here. We got a couple pens to start. All right. We'll come back to this maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. We'll see. All right, we'll do the Esterbrook first, only because I need to swap the nibs out. And this won't take very long. Where did it go? Which way did it go? Oops. So when I saw this came in, and that's how the nib looked coming out of the section, I said, that ain't right. Normally I'd soak it, but this is already out of the slot. So I knew it would be easy to knock out. It's got some missing fins in there. And the nib is stuck in the collar, so I'm just going to heat it up. This is one of those crimped ones, and miraculously is not broken. So I don't want to break it pushing this out. Let's see if we get a different feed for this. Got to be one in this bag somewhere. Because it just needs to be the same length. And so I know a lot of these in here are probably 1000 series. Beads. That's actually too long. This one's the right length, but it's got that later breather channel. Too short. That's too long. There we go. That one will work. It's nice and cleaned out. Omaha. Heads up that hard rubber pen. The seal seems to be perfectly fine. Loaded it up some ink this morning. It writes beautifully. A little wet writing, but that's okay. Going to look at getting the oxidation cleaned up soon. Oh, good. Just a little bit of corrosion on the shaft there. And I know some of you are probably wondering, and I didn't explain this right away. Like, why are you wasting all this time on an Esterbrook nib? Well, this is a 9128. So it has merit. It's seen better days, but it's still there. Come on. Got a little bit to go yet. 3 millimeters. Usually you can see an indentation on the opposite side of where the crimp is, where the nib has formed over the years, but in this case it's not there. Which is why it's important to line up the crimp slits with the hole, this little notch in the feed, because that's where the collar was crimped on. There we go. Thoughts on flits to clean it up and polish it? Yeah, I don't use flits. I wouldn't use flits. Flits is designed for like metal. It's like semi-chrome. It's what you use to like polish a flute or something. Probably don't even use it to polish a flute. I used to get it when I worked at the music store. Yeah, I mean, definitely not hard rubber. I mean, it'd probably be okay on plastic to some degree, but you got to be careful what you use it on. Overlapping slide. There we go. There we go. Did I call it or what? Who's your favorite trombone player? Let's toss that random question out there. See what you got on that answer. Dead or alive? Okay, that is good to go. You know, sadly, there's not a ton of, at least that I found. Oh, this doesn't feel good. Willie Riker. Let's look him up. I enjoy listening to jazz trombone. But it's not on Spotify, so love it or hate it. I like Spotify. Hans, you're back. I'll look him up. My favorite for a while has been I like jazz. I like funk. So Niels Lundgren and the Funk Unit, NLFU. I've always enjoyed Niels. Curtis Fuller, cornerstone of the hard bop movement. Fuller is best known for his work to Art Blakey's Jazz Messenger, sure, and an appearance on John Coltrane's Blue Train, yeah. Oh, Riker. Oh, yeah. Okay. I got it. You got me on that one. Boy, oh boy, look at this. Yeah, I think I remember that scene. Look at that. That's a rare original blue-tipped Lifetime. What do you think? Yeah, here I'm looking Riker up on. See, we just had this conversation yesterday. I I can be a little gullible, and I haven't watched a lot of Star Trek. I mean, I like Star Trek and Star Wars reasonably equally. One of only a few know. Yeah, it's gonna really muck up my water and my ultrasonic. I tell you that. Slide Hampton, master composer and arranger, held his trombone upside down because he was left-handed. I didn't know that. Late bebop powerhouse that led several influential large ensembles. Cool. Yeah, there's just not enough. There's not enough. Let's see if this comes open. Nah, it didn't come open. We're gonna drop that in the ultrasonic. Turn that on. I suspect the rest of this is going to be just equally as fun. Willie Riker. God. Dang it. I used to be a big Voyager fan back in the day, but... well, that's good right there. I've misplaced my normal little screwdriver, so this will work though to get this O-ring out. That. Well, the spring looks good. That's hard as a rock. Schaefer turquoise, maybe. Peacock? Buddy Schaub from Less Than Jake. That's probably on Willie Riker. It's a bit dark for Peacock. Okay. Less Than Jake. There we go. All right. Got something to listen to on the way home tonight. I grew up listening to trumpet players. That's what the instrument I played. And then at one point, I decided I wanted to be a trombone player. And I bought a silver Yamaha trombone from a buddy of mine. Paid way too much for it. Realized it was going to screw up my chops, something furious. So never used it again, sold it. I don't remember what happened to it. I don't have it. That's all I know. He was the only kid in school that had a silver trombone. But I've listened to my fair share of trumpet players. Yeah, yeah. Transfer from trumpet to trombone. That's quite a change. My mom's like, "You spent what? How much did you spend on that?" You played trombone and jazz band during high school. It was fun, but I wasn't great at it. Mine was a cheap band instrument. Your parents may still have it. Played euphonium in the school orchestra, so it was at least similar. Yeah, nice. I didn't know that. You get along real well with my buddy Dave. He's a euphonium baritone trombone guy. We always joked about having a polka band. You don't need to play have a wide range to play trumpet in a polka band. Not usually, anyway. You did sax, alto for marching, and bari for jazz. Yeah, yeah, because they don't need any more. They don't need any more altos for concert band. Playing loudly helps in a polka band. Yeah. All right. Everybody wants to be cool and play the alto, but nobody definitely don't need a marching band with a bari sax is a whole nother animal, isn't it? I'm a big lad, but that gets heavy. Yeah, man. Don't they have my friend Dave would know this. Now that he's since he left me, he went back into the music business. Um, don't they have like little rolling carts now to rest the bari on if you're in marching band? Although I don't know how you would keep that thing from like getting away from you. If you hit a pothole or something, or less than. I thought I remember there was like a little something with wheels. You just maybe it straps on. Maybe it straps on to the bottom bow, maybe, so that way at least it doesn't go rolling around. Euphonium was heavy enough after a few hours of marching. Yeah, I bet it was. I read an interesting thread not too long ago on band instruments and how trumpet is really kind of the sweet spot for. Back in your day, you called them clarinet piccolo players. Yeah, yeah. Um, the sweet spot for low price, high performance, right? Flutes. Okay, now you got to get into sterling silver head joints, and clarinets. You got to do grenadilla wood, and buffets, and saxophones. You got the bigger the instrument, the more expensive it is. You got all the reeds and all that crap. And trumpets, man, I mean, you can go and you could buy at least in the day, you could buy a box Strat for $1,200, less, probably $1,000, and you're done. And poor flute players, man, I mean, I mean, 10,000 doesn't even buy you the best flute, you can get. But then someone made the point, it's like, well, yeah, as a trumpet player, you got B flat, you got C, you got a flugel, you got a piccolo, you got a D, E flat, you got a cornet, you got all this other stuff that you got to have. And that kind of all adds up. It's like, well, yeah, you're right on that. Your uncle's French horn costs as much as the car. Yeah, French horns, jeez. And then I forgot rotary valve trumpets. You got those. So you got rotary valve piccolo, rotary valve C. Yeah. Get me a nice silver Jupiter or Naked Lady Con. Yeah, Naked Lady Con. That's the way to go. We get one of those in the shop every once in a while. If I was lucky enough to be walking through the shop, they wouldn't call me when I was down there, but you would know. You'd see an old con or you see an old saxophone. You go, hey man, is that what do you got? Is that the Naked Lady? Well, only the top half. Okay. Always cool to see an cool old horn. Maybe you need to bring any band instruments your parents still have lying around from brother and with you to Chicago. We could add that to the trade. I don't know. I don't know about that. I hadn't played my trumpet in a long time, and then during COVID, both of my grandparents passed away. Within, I don't know, 6 months of each other, maybe. Grandpa was 99. Grandma was like 97 or 6 or something like that. I mean, she was, they were, and then of course, that's a case, right? When one goes, the other one does not too far after. And so my mom said, well, we'll have when everything is back to as normal as we can get, we'll have this is the really sticky thing here. We'll have a little memorial service at the house. We'll have, Grandpa's a veteran, so we'll have a flag burning ceremony in his honor and all that stuff. And my mom was like, well, can you get a recording of taps? I said, well, I do have a trumpet, I can play that, right? I got the trumpet out. I tried it one night. I don't recall whether or not I warned Lisa in advance of the noise that was going to happen in the basement. But I was like, yeah, no, I gotta stay like well within the range of the staff. And so I ended up bringing a portable speaker, and I played it on my phone because like it's not going to happen. I'm not even going to do it justice. When you were unemployed last year, you went and got a box of reeds and busted out the sacks. Man, your mouth hurt like sin. Yeah, I mean, I was like, I used to do this every day. I want to do this for a living. Yeah, man. God, I should just put this in acetone, but I'm really determined to get it out with this. I need a handle for this thing is what I need. And I have some, but they need to be drilled out. Some softer 2S, it didn't go well. Yeah. Maybe someday. I do still have all my sheet music, so, Because some of that stuff was really hard to find. It was out of print. And my tub professor's like, well, you got to have it. Okay. All right, so this whole thing is moving, so I think I haven't cut it. I can just... Try pushing. Yeah, except the problem is all my pushers, they get too wide. Oh, yeah. Yeah, now you're thinking. There we go. Thank you. It's not quite brittle enough just to completely shatter, but it was hard enough to... See, I was using this because you kept telling me, you got to use it. You got to stop, you know. And so I'm determined to get it to work. Well, it wasn't working. All right. That took way longer than it needed to take. Let's see, let's drop this in the ultrasonic. I need O-ring, sack, point holder gasket. You've been there before. Use every tool you got. Yeah. I've been doing this funny thing with my garbage can. I'm like literally only putting desiccated sacks and Q-tips in it. So, like one day I'd gone to like Taco John's or whatever for lunch, and I had a soda cup in there, and one day I decided, yeah, that's not gonna do. So I started pulling garbage out of the can, so it's just Q-tips and old bad sacks and O-rings and things. I don't think I've changed it. I changed it once since I've been here since August. It's very colorful and it's very heavy. It's a whole lot of Q-tips. So before I do that. Okay. All right. Well, where did it go? I know my silicone grease is like right in front of me. It has to be. I got back here. Well, I got some 51 caps back then. That was more Estabrook nibs. All sorts of good stuff underneath my computer. We won't go there. This is one of my favorite parts of the whole snorkel assembly is putting this part together, because you're essentially getting rid of 4 different pieces out of your tray. It is satisfying, yeah. I love how easy the snorkel is to get apart, and then you got this tray that's like got, you know, however many parts you got. How many parts do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I guess. 12 counting the cap. 13 if you count the gasket. 14. Yeah, like 13, 14 parts. And then you start reducing it. All right, that's good. Let's see how this nib is progressing. Oh no, I missed a couple parts, didn't I? I got 14, 15, something like that. All right, well, the good news is I wore off all the blue ink, but the bad news is it's no longer the prototype for the rare blue ink model. Get it? We got an ad break coming up here in just under 3 minutes. I think I'm going to use that to grab some coffee, take a quick break. I still see a little blue ink come out here. I'm going to drop this in this nib part of the nib into the ultrasonic just for a little bit. Actually, the nib is loose on the feed. I don't want to move the feed because I hate having to line that up, but there might be a little bit of ink in that thread area, so I'm just going to drop that back in there. Oops. That fell out. You're you're getting your offer ready? A monster. 500 for the prototype blue shaver nib. Yeah, I know. That's me. A monster. Well, I was trying to avoid that, but I guess it's better it came out. All right, I guess it looks like we got an ad starting on Twitch here in a minute, in a couple seconds. I'm going to grab some coffee, take a quick break. I will be back in less than 3 minutes. I'll be right back. Thank you. All right. Thank you for allowing me that short little reprieve. Ultrasonic turned off. I guess it'd be handy if I had it on. Okay. Clean this up. How's Crazy Al these days, Hans? he going to be in Baltimore? He'll be in Baltimore. Oh, good. Good to see him. Four or five tables. Holy cow. I remember those days. All right, this looks better. This looks better. It wasn't very tight and it shifted, so. Not quite enough. I'm doing that the hard way if I'm trying to align it. Yeah, apparently I am. I've been able to do it with a toothpick before. What's the easy way? It's really stiff. Screw the nib. Oh. See, you learn something new every day. I love learning stuff. Yeah, look at that. It's the same size as the screwdriver I used to get the screw out. Wow. Okay. I'm a little, yeah, super easy. Oh my God. I'm a little shocked that Cheryl Tyree never taught me that. Wow. I suppose that's the whole reason they put that there, isn't it? That's the whole reason they put that there. Unbelievable. Okay. Okay. My pride hurts only a little bit, but that's good. They made it that way. All right. Very good. All right. You've probably done more snorkels than I have, and I've done a fair share. I almost never take the nib apart. You could have watched me struggle. We all need new tricks and methods, yeah. Yeah, look at that. See, now that I get it on there, I think I need to rotate it a little bit. Yeah, I need to rotate it a little bit. Well, you did watch me struggle, so, there's that. You didn't let me go too long. Yeah, it is really rare. Yeah. It was kind of loose. You stabbed me as fast as you could. Thank you. That's cool. That's cool. Like, I want to go in the parts bin and I want to align them all. Oh my God, is that beautiful? Yeah, I mean it's so rare. It's did I trim this? I already trimmed this, didn't I? Yeah. You can teach an old dog new tricks. If you're gonna rotate it, make sure to ultrasonic clean it first. Yeah, yeah. Because you could break it. You could snap it off. Do that the hard way. Cool. I won't forget that. All right, we're gonna have to line this up anyway later. Well, I already had a little bench note for the podcast already for this week, but now I got two. Okay. That's good. I guess I got everything out of the ultrasonic. That doesn't need to be really running, does it? Make sure this is clean. Yeah, that's a great bench tip. Oh my God. It's even better that I don't have to get another screwdriver because the one that I have fits. I'm happy to always get more tools, but I probably count on two hands the number of times I've ever had to do it. in the last 28 years, right? You know, like to say, it's not very often that you need to. There's a gunsmith screwdriver that fits the screw so well it holds it in place. Crap, I gotta get a different screwdriver now. Come on. Well, mine is magnetized so it holds the. You said it was unnecessary, yeah. Oh, I missed the previous sentence. I show you an upgrade to your circuit. Oh, okay, very unnecessary. All right, I missed that sentence. This one's actually magnetized so it holds onto the screw pretty well. All right, so that's good. That's good. What is it? 20 after 4, huh? We should do something else. I got this other 51 soaking in here. At least maybe try to get it apart. All right, so we'll assemble this tomorrow. I always hate it when this comes out because for me, I always like to make sure that means it's an extra day for me because I like that shellac to dry on that sack protector bushing. But yes, I do want to see the unnecessary gunsmith screwdriver at some point. I had two. I must have restored these. I had a 51 special and a Schaefer touchdown. Oh, this is the infamous Schaefer touchdown. This is the blue touchdown. I couldn't find the writing sample. They're sitting over here. I couldn't find the writing samples for them because I don't know where they ended up. So I didn't transfer them over into the completed pile. All right. Okay. Well, this is an improvement. That was extremely blue yesterday. And boom, it just came out. Usually all that needs is a little soak and that part comes out pretty well. Ooh, excuse me. I think I might be locking the cats out of the bedroom tonight. It has a hollow ground end, which is a bit unusual. Oh, interesting. All right, let me see if I can figure out how to. Let me see. I don't know why this always. Come on. That's not what I want. There it is. How much is this guy? $16.29, huh? Huh. Well, I bet oh, sorry, I gotta throw it on here for the YouTube folks. I bet this will work a lot easier, a lot better. Um, on strip screws. For $16, that might be my most expensive screwdriver. Yeah, it does it better. I kind of have to buy it. I already spent money today. Someone might have it cheaper. Okay. Well, I mean, if it's gonna make one repair out of 100 easier, then I want that. Come on. Lisa loves buying tools for me, so you can be a bit snobbish when it comes to screwdrivers, so I may not be the most reasonable person to listen to. Well, I have certainly spent more on tools that I've never used. And this diaphragm is... This doesn't want to come out in one piece. So I think I'm going to just drop the whole barrel in there. That's going to take care of most of it. Yeah. Nib blocks. Nib blocks are my useless tool. Not that they're useless. It's just that every time a new one, every time somebody would come out with one, I go, oh, cool. That's a little different. You have too many vacuum filler tools? I really need to come and take a look at all the tools you got. And I'm going to wear baggy clothes when I come. All right. And you never do them. Yeah. This survived a multitude of heat yesterday. This is probably a terrible idea, but it's not doing me any good if I can't get it open. But maybe I can just... What is that? Oh, boxes. Very nice.
Who's in the chat?
Hans is offering to allow me to steal some of his tools, but a giant box of desk sets might be sent to my home. Care of
He's just really brave, isn't he? He's not properly scared yet.
See, you got to let him off today because Hans gave me the greatest tip ever. The greatest repair tip ever.
Okay.
It's fascinating. It's gonna be a Friday's little bench.
Okay, I'm gonna put these over there.
All
Are
right.
these good? These are like
Yeah, perfect boxes. Perfect boxes. Perfect boxes. So you can set them right there on the floor. Hans says hi. What am I soaking? Oh, I'm soaking the. What the heck am I soaking here? What did I just throw in the ultrasonic? Oh, the barrel. Duh. She brings over their boxes from time to time, and I reuse them for a lot of Midwestern priority mail and first class because it's cheaper and uses less packaging to ship in a smaller box if it's in the Midwest. So instead of always using priority mailboxes. I can use a smaller box. It costs the same. It's not overpacked. It uses less filler. As far as I'm concerned, it's win-win-win. All right, so we're gonna let that sit. Little naphtha on there. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? I think. That's your dad's old pen he's working on. I'm ignorant of all this stuff. What are you guys talking about when you refer to prototype blue shaver nib? We're just kidding. It's not a proto. It was the ink all over. It was such an even coating on the nib that it would have been a cool. It would have been a cool production thing, wouldn't it have been? So it's no longer blue. It is beautiful, 14 karat, two-tone. So this is shellacked. We'll wait to dry tomorrow, then we can assemble it in here. And then the next step is, since the snorkel tube came out, we have to align and set the snorkel tube inside the sack protector bushing. And once we get that in place, if it is loose, then we have to apply shellac, like right where I have this toothpick right here, at the base to keep it from moving, essentially. Which means another day I just let it harden overnight. And then it can reassemble, test it, and then seal up the barrel. So, yeah, this is Wednesday, Thursday. This is probably a next week. Next week it'll be done. So that's where we're at. All right, so I think we got that soak was oh, still something in there. Yeah, I'd say there's a little something. There it is. Still a little more in there. All right, so I'm going to drop that back in there. Sometimes it's just easier to just keep dropping it back in the ultrasonic and then, if there's little flakes and little things that you can't seem to get out with your pick, then they work their way out, and then it's easier to look at whether it's clean or not. Because we can't have all that old sack. In the way of the new diaphragm. We lined this up. I'm gonna grab some clear shellac. Let's get this one off the bench. It's too good to be sitting here. I happen to know a guy who's got some supplies, so I just borrowed a little clear shellac. This stuff you gotta shake up. It can separate. Well, now see, Hans, it depends on what kind of desk sets we're talking about here. I mean, if they're cool desk sets, that could be win-win. Probably not, but I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. I want it as clean as humanly possible. Without trumpets and extra chips to the edges. And no indicator of who the maker is. Just holes. I think I got some of those. Reminds me of the time we once got a collection of desk sets. And they were shipped in priority mailboxes with like no padding. And so when they arrived, they were all chipped. And I mean, every one was a disaster. Every single one was a disaster. Could have been so much better. But hey, the price was right. I mean, there were so many chips on them that it actually, some of them actually looked like they should have been that way. Like, oh, hey, that's kind of cool. Rougher on the edges, literally. You're going to try to smooth out the edges of a desk base one of these days. You bought a tool to do it while you were in Tucson, but I don't want that mess inside. Yeah. All right. This should dry nice and clear. Should dry nice and clear. When it's done, it will be really, really super cool. I thought I had some clear shellac on here somewhere, but I guess I didn't. I guess I'm commandeering this guy here. No, I guess I don't have any. All right, we'll let that sit. My hope on this is it's gonna absorb down a little bit into these threads, and this may take repeated applications. But maybe tomorrow we can try to see if it opens. And I don't really want to go any further with the rest of these vacs because, well, I'm running low on time. For a second there, I thought this was a special variant of the vac. It's a nice stubby short. Did I put pencil lead in here? I did. Oh, it's slipping a little bit. This is why I hate pencils. I just hate pencils. They're fun to collect if you don't do anything with them. You want to actually write with them and make them work. It's a whole nother ballgame. There we go. The trick is sometimes you just make that tube out around enough that it catches inside the cap, and then you're good to go. Okay. All right, 448. Yeah, you want that if you're going to be working on marble. You do that outside on the patio or something while you got some steaks cooking and you're waiting for waiting to flip them or something, huh? What else do we got here? Okay, so And there's a reason I'm holding off on this too. So we'll hopefully if UPS comes back tomorrow, we'll get that straightened away. I got to go log on to the website and see if I can pay my duty, so to speak. But yeah, we got something cool that we're going to show tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday already, and I think for now, unless I get some client pens, we'll just keep working on that Snorkel Desk Pen, and then we'll get back to these. We'll start drilling these out. We'll give this guy here a try, see if we can get that open. I hate to even test this, but I guess we get the spinner, so we can try it. I'm sure it fills. And we can get that out of here because tomorrow's Thursday. Actually, what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to photograph this first. I want to photograph this pen since it's so nice and clear. And I think this is a factory. This is a factory. This is not a Kulik. It's very, very well done if it's not factory. So I'll photograph that tomorrow morning, and then we can test it just to make sure the nib is good. I'm sure the nib it's fine. So that's where we're gonna be. I'm gonna end this a couple minutes early today. And go take care of these customers. Oh, I was gonna, you know what I was gonna do? I did wipe that down. Yeah, okay, never mind. Yeah, thanks, Hans. I hope you have a great night too. But anyway, thanks everyone for joining, for tuning in. Awfully quiet over there on the YouTube side today, but it's all right, I guess. Keep me on as background noise. Have a great evening, great afternoon, great morning, wherever you are in the world. Thanks again, Gary, for the 2 desk pens. I do appreciate it. I know you're not watching, but you'll watch it later. So appreciate it. Thank you very much. And be kind, be well, and we will see you tomorrow. All right? Take care, everyone. Bye now.